Today we're going to be cooking a simple but delicious, heartwarming vegetable soup that is plant-based and it's gluten-free too. Now, more people than ever before are working from home, and it's really useful when you are working from home to prepare your food beforehand, so you're not reaching for the snack drawer at lunchtime. Or is that just me? Probably is. But anyway, and preparing your food beforehand really helps you sort of make the most of your lunchtime, so you're not spending all of it cooking. And the soups are amazing for this because you can prepare them at the weekend, or if you've got a night free, sometime during the week. And then they tend to be good for a few days, and you can even freeze them too. And then that means you can enjoy them at a later time, a later day. Now, I am a big fan of blended soups, and my partner is a big fan of soups where you can taste the individual vegetables. So I created this soup for him, and he absolutely loved it. And then I was cooking it on a weekly basis because I found I really loved it too. So I'm going to share with you now the ingredients for this soup, and then after that I'll show you how to make it. Let's go over the ingredients that we're going to be using for today. Now, I just want to say a couple of things first of all. Now, the first thing, this may seem like a lot of different ingredients, but we're going to be making a big batch of soup that you can enjoy over several days. So trust me, it'll be worth it. And also the cooking time is super quick on the soup. The second thing I wanted to say is that because this is not a blended soup, you need to chop the vegetables to the size that you want them in the soup. Does that make sense? So basically, you don't want just one vegetable on a spoon when you're taking a sip of your soup. And you're going to want a few things on it, but you don't want them so small that they actually disintegrate, because that defeats the object of having this kind of soup. So check out the ingredients below for the details about the size that I cut each of the individual pieces. Right, let's go through them now. So this is, we've got here some leek. I've washed it, made sure the grit's out, and it's sort of in about 1 centimetre, if not a little bit smaller, sort of strips. That works really well. I've cut some potatoes here. We've also got some chopped carrots, some chopped tomatoes that we're going to add to give a little bit of tanginess to the soup. Underneath the parsley, I have some finely chopped onions, which will go and actually really help the base of the soup. I've also got the chopped parsley as well, which we're going to use to finish the soup a bit later. I've also got here, I don't know if you can see it, I've got here some celery. So I've chopped this quite finely as well, and this will really add flavour to the base of the soup as well. I've got a bit of olive oil to fry the onions. And I've got a bit here, I've got a secret ingredient. Now, what's great about this soup is you can add some leftovers that you've got in the fridge that are going to go off if you don't eat them. So here I've actually got some leftover lettuce. Now, this will add a little bit later in cooking because it doesn't need as long as the other vegetables. But absolutely, you can put leftover lettuce in soups and it tastes great and it looks great too. If you haven't got any lettuce that you want to use, then you can also use spinach, which I would put in at the end. Or you could use something like a kale or a cabbage, but cut quite finely, and then put it in with the rest of the ingredients too. Down at the front, I've got some vegan butter. I've got a little bit of salt, and I've got some turmeric and some mild chili powder, which adds the warmth to the heartwarming soup. And obviously here on the side, I've got our vegetable broth stock cubes. Now, depending on which stock cubes you use, you may need more, a little bit more, a little bit less than what I'm saying, because every stock cube is different. But please make sure, especially if you're making this for yourself or someone else who has a gluten allergy, that you pick one that is gluten-free, because that's going to help. Okay, so let's go over to the saucepan now, and we can start making the soup and putting it all together. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but it's pouring with rain outside. So I'm feeling very grateful right now that I've got something very warming to have for lunch today. So let's get started. I've just put the olive oil in the pan and it's now at temperature, it's heated up, and we're going to be adding the onions. So with the onions, you need to cook on a low temperature for around about 4 or 5 minutes until they get translucent even. Can't get my words out today. Till they get translucent, and then you can start adding the other vegetables too. So I've just added some of the vegetables. We've got the potatoes in here, the carrots, the leeks and celery to the onions. I haven't added the lettuce and I haven't added the tomatoes because I'm going to add those a little bit later. If you are going to be using kale, this is a perfect time to add it to the dish, and the same if you're using cabbage, but just make sure you cut up the cabbage quite small because it can take a long time to cook. If you're going to be using spinach, then add it when I add the lettuce, which will be a little bit later. We're just giving this like 1 to 2 minutes, and then it will be ready for the spices. Okay. So next we're going to add the spices and a bit more of the flavouring. So we're going to add the garlic. And then also the turmeric and the mild chili pepper too. Just make sure I get all of it. And then I'm just going to be careful that it doesn't catch on the bottom. And I'm just going to mix all of the flavours in with the vegetables. Okay, now once we've done that, I'm going to add, whoops, one's trying to escape. I'm going to add the tomatoes to this too. Now these tomatoes, you may have noticed, still have their skins on. One reason for this is because it actually takes quite a lot of time to actually take the skin off of these. I don't know if you've tried. But also, by the time the tomatoes, once they've cooked and melt down, then you don't even really notice it sort of becomes part of the sauce. So it's a personal preference that I don't do mine and don't take the skins off. If you find it's going to annoy you, then obviously you can take yours off. But yes, but today we're not going to do that. So I'm just cooking the tomatoes now. And it's already starting to smell really amazing. So now I'm going to add the stock. And I'm just going to mix it all together. Oh, that's already looking pretty good. I'm going to add the butter now. This does add a little bit of richness to the dish. And I'm going to add the salt too. Now, cooking time will depend on the size of your vegetables, but also your choice of vegetables too. So it may differ. The other thing to take into consideration is the cooking time. It doesn't stop when you actually turn the stove off. It will still be cooking until it cools down. Now you can see the soup is almost done. So we're going to add the lettuce. And I'm going to add some of the parsley too. And just mix it together. And then I'm just going to put the lid back on. And it's almost ready to serve. Now, as you've probably figured out by now, this is always my favourite bit where you can try what you've made. Let's just get a spoonful here. It's so tasty. Now, the mild chili powder and the turmeric add a sort of warmth and an earthiness to the dish, but they don't overpower it. And you can still taste the vegetables on top of that, which is something my partner always tells me that he loves. Now, as I said before, this recipe is perfect for a weekday lunch, but it also works for a weekend too. And please check out our other recipes because we've got some fantastic soups that would also be perfect. So you can kind of like switch it up a little bit and not have the same soup every day. Enjoy!